All right, so down at the bottom left-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar, we have TSL Clide from it is.
We need to get a little.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm getting marginalized here, man.
Here we go. Oh, well, come on in. Come on in.
Make myself at home.
I am. Anyway, so we have Team SCV Life Clide spawning as our red Terran down here at the bottom left-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar. Yep. His opponent in the top left-hand corner is the one, the only MentalBreak.
Not really good spawn points either for MentalBreak here with the Terran player just spawning south of him. That's going to make him a little bit exposed at the sweet spot, and if we can get a camera view over there of the sweet spot at the natural, you know what I'm talking about, right there. As soon as some tanks set themselves up right below that cliff line and get a dropship overhead, they can start shelling the gas and the minerals away. So I don't think MentalBreak's going to be too happy about the spawn positions here, and we've already seen that he's capable of doing the Beanling bust, so it's quite possible he may just go for a bust once again, and on a map like this, it is very, very effective.
And I'm really curious to see what TSL Clide decides to do. He has been going for that very, very aggressive 1-Rax FE, or economically aggressive, I should say. Wasn't putting on a lot of pressure or anything like that. The 1-Rax no gas FE into gas with the double gas into Hellions, and then producing some sort of a harassment unit through his starport with the tech lab or something like that.
Jack of all trades, a little bit of every unit. Stop.
Yeah, but MentalBreak, he's got to be pretty prepared for that now. So I assume he's going to try and switch it up in some way, shape, or form, because he had favorable spawns, as you mentioned before, on Crevasse. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what he'll do now.
Well, he is going to go for the 15 hatch, so he's going to plan out for that Echo game. Considering it's Tal'Darim Altar's a big map, I don't blame that decision at all. He's not going to be too happy to find where the Terran has spawned, but once the hatch is down, you can't abort it. The fetus is growing. There's no abortion here. We're pro-life. So the hatchery is going, and,
and it looks just like imagine the angry emails flying in now, but...
I know, man, I know.
You made an abortion joke!
I made a trunk bar joke
so,
too.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we do have a Reaper coming out here, so we do have a little bit of variety to start things off here. That Reaper will possibly be able to do some damage. It can also do scouting as well, and it's going to be interesting to see how many Reapers he produces, because you can do one just for scouting, or he can produce 2 or 3 for actual harass.
Yeah. And so we do have a spawning pool coming up now for MentalBreak, so we'll see how much damage this Reaper is actually going to do, and I think he is.
Yeah, he's
there we go.
On the high ground, just overlooking the low ground as well. Here comes a drone off the line, really smart right there. Look at how MentalBreak left the Overlord on that little, what is that, a little platform?
Yeah.
So he can see a very wide vision right here, and he sees the bunker coming up. That is going to cancel the bunker with all those drones coming off the line right here, but Clide can obviously cancel the bunker as it's building as well, and the mining time that those drones lost is actually effectively a good thing for Clide.
Yep, and it looks like he's not done with this though. Oh, he's actually going to do a double bunker and keep the Reaper behind. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for any units to come out, and we actually have a second Reaper coming out as well, and it's almost finished. Is that actually a third?
There is a third Reaper on the way. There is 2 Reapers on the map right now, and another Reaper in production. I love the positioning of those bunkers in the front of that Reaper. The Reaper is going to be absolutely fully protected. There is a spine crawler coming up. However, the thing is, the spine crawler, as it's morphing, as it's in its baby phase, the Reaper can kill it, especially 2 or 3. They can just chuck a couple grenades and down goes the spine crawler. So there's a situation where abortion will
Did you just say baby and kill? I was about to say, I think you're going towards another abortion joke. But nonetheless, double Reaper inside of the bunkers at the moment. And of course, those Reapers do so much damage to structures.
Don't do it! Don't kill the baby!
That spine crawler is very close to finishing. Yes, it is, and it is within range of the bunker. So these SCVs are going to have to start repairing, but I think they will do so very soon. Looks like the Zerglings are going to go for a little bit of a counterattack, but we already have a supply depot wall in place.
In on the bottom corner, that looks pretty close. Oh, yes, it is walled in. Wow, that was pretty close right there. So the Zerglings are not going to be able to get inside. The main really intelligent play here from Clide, and his Reapers are chucking handheld grenades right now at that hatchery. Wow. The hatchery is about to go down, and boom, it goes. All the blood spurting out of the ground. I love the animation for the hatchery when it goes down. It looks like the bunker will go down.
Yeah, he wasn't repairing. He was a little more worried about the supply depot back here, I suppose. He has another bunker, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought he would have tried to maintain the first one. It would have...
you know what would probably happen is the SCVs were set to repair, and then the bunker got to full HP, and then the SCVs stopped repairing.
So it wasn't on, he wasn't on autocast.
He wasn't on. Yeah, well, that's his bad. So he loses 1 bunker, but he still has a second bunker to back himself up as well. He's killing off larva right now. That's even worse than all that stuff I was talking about before.
Yeah.
That's like killing the sperm.
Oh, beautiful timing. It looks like all the Reapers are going to be able to make their way out. They're going right after the Spine Crawler. They don't want that to stay up. It does go down. The next Reaper gets back inside of the bunker, and looks like those SUVs are going to try and repair it up. We have a few Lings running their way in. This bunker is going to take quite a bit of damage, and not before that Reaper continues to get its kills.
Oh, man, this is such a bad spot for MentalBreak. He eventually will clear off that bunker, but he's going to try to play a macro game out of this. He's building another hatchery up, but I don't know, man. I think he's so far behind at this point that there's really no way for him to realistically come back. He's producing a Roach right now because he needs something to combat the Reapers. The Lings are absolutely worthless, as you guys can see right there from that prime example. So he's got to produce Roaches right now. He's got to get up a new hatchery. He's got to get up saturation. And this is just a spot where, I don't know, if I was a Zerg player, if I was MentalBreak right now, I might be crying in the corner. Literally.
Throwing your keyboard across the room, something like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, those Reapers
you didn't
stay
get
up.
that Reaper, man.
Oh, demoralizing, I tell you.
I don't know, man. This is a bad spot. In the Terran main, meanwhile, we do have a lot of structures being produced. Looks like a factory, a command center. So Clide is very soon going to be expanding out of this. In fact, he is just waiting for Blue Flame upgrade to come up before he can safely secure that natural expansion. And it's just going to be a disaster here for MentalBreak. The one thing that MentalBreak has going for him is he does have Roaches coming out, and the Roaches are very good against both Reapers and Blue Flame Hellions.
And unfortunately, the poor 12-kill Reaper does go down. This one's going to try and move its way around.
Well, he was a baby killer, so he should have died anyways.
We have 3 Hellions coming up at a time right now. I'm going to dignify that with a response. But anyway, TSL Clide is going to drop down his orbital command. We do have a double expand coming out of MentalBreak, which is something he absolutely had to do to try and make his way back into this economically.
The thing is, though, with that double hatch, does he actually have enough saturation really to even justify that? I would love to see his income right now.
Yeah, and let's actually take a look at the units tab.
21 drones? Really? I don't think he should. With 21 drones, I don't think you can double expand. I mean, yes, sometimes you got to double expand to get out of the game, but there really is no point to getting that extra hatchery if you don't have enough drones to justify the point of the hatchery. It's not even a macro hatch at this point because he just doesn't have enough money to produce out of those 3 hatches.
Oh, he's supply blocked as well, but we do have an Overlord coming up finally.
Oh, things are falling apart right now.
And let's actually take a look. He hopefully can clean off this attack and manages to get 1 Hellion kill, almost kills 2 more, but he does succeed in driving them away as this next hatchery does come up. So at the very least, he'll be able to use the larvae from there. Whether or not he's actually able to make use of the production, that's another story.
I don't even know if he can use the larva from there with 21 drones. This is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But he is making 8 drones right now, so he's going to slowly ramp up that economy. I don't think Clide has scouted that 3rd either. Clide, in fact, has to fall back now that he's encountered the Roaches, and he throws up an armory as well, so he wants to get the combat Thor out to deal with the Roaches, and Thor's, of course, very good against Roaches, so he is going to try to get that Thor out. Meanwhile, the Roaches are going to try to bust down this front door, and we actually have a situation where Clide is in a bit of trouble because the forces he has on the map cannot deal with Roaches very effectively. However, that tank does come out, and I think that's going to effectively push MentalBreak back.
Yeah, let's actually take a look here because there was 2 consecutive rounds of droning up there for a while, so MentalBreak is at 37 drones, and being on 3 bases, it looks like he finally will have the economy to start supporting some of that. So his economy is getting back in shape. Taking a look at the economy tab, okay, it looks like a couple of mules just hit, but he's not in a terrible position anymore.
The prospectors just found some gold. That's what I like to think of mules as, 49ers, the prospectors. But actually, MentalBreak is climbing back out of this hole incredibly. He is droning up pretty hard right now with 13 drones on the way. He scouts the dropship coming out. That's pretty huge stuff right there because there are a lot of Blue Flame Hellions being loaded right now, and they are going for a run right into the natural expansion. MentalBreak right now needs to get his Roaches in position. He has a queen right there, and it looks like 3 Roaches are going to be there to greet the Hellions and the drones evacuating the dangerous area. So really good play by MentalBreak and mitigating his losses.
Wow, very nice.
Well played.
Yep, we have 2 more Hellions left. 1 goes down. Looks like the final might fall as well.
I think
at the very least, it's not going to get too many kills with the Roaches on creep. It's going to be able to move. They're going to be able to move in there and take out those Hellions. At the same time, we have 3 more Hellions come in. It looks like they've gotten a couple of kills themselves, but not exactly the devastating blow that Clide was looking for. He is going to run directly into this queen. Unfortunately, one of those Hellions is going to go down without those Hellions doing any damage. Looks like they will clean up the last couple of drones there, but still, again, it wasn't the crippling blow that Clide was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, with 6 Hellions you're running in there, you're looking to do a lot of damage. And if you lose a lot of those Hellions, which he lost, I think, like 4 or 5 of them, that's big. He ends up losing all of his map control forces. He doesn't have the ability to harass the Zerg for about a couple of minutes. So this gives MentalBreak an opportunity to make a decision. Do I want to join up? Do I want to counterattack? What do I want to make of this situation? And if anything, I think Clide actually comes in there and didn't do enough damage. With that said, though, he is still ahead in this game. The army tab says it all at 116/85, but MentalBreak is still at a position where he can recover and he can get out of this game with a victory. He has a Spine Crawler coming up at the 3rd. He has a lot of roaches on the map. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, he definitely has the counter to the Hellions that are already on the field. Unfortunately, he doesn't kill any of the units there, but he has a wall and gets 1 kill, hurts a second, doesn't get the second kill. But like you're saying, I mean, all we've seen so far are Blue Flame Hellions. We finally have a couple of tanks and a Thor, but they're not being used on offensive capabilities quite yet. There we go, a couple more Hellions going down there, and there is a few Hellions over on the right-hand side checking for a 4th expansion, but they're not going to see that quite yet. But MentalBreak, he's got his Spire coming up. He's got the unit composition that he wants. And it looks like he's going to start doing some pretty good damage, but he still has a long, long way to go to catch up in this game because Clide is in a dominating spot, especially with his 3rd up and running.
Yeah, at this point right now, MentalBreak does have the same amount of harvesters that Clide has, so he has recovered economically incredibly. But his army is a little bit shaky right now because there are multiple Thors on the field, at least multiple Thors about to join the fray. So that's pretty bad stuff because right now MentalBreak needs a lot of Mutalisks to break this mech backbone. Clide is going for the very popular mech style against Zerg, and what MentalBreak needs to do is make sure he has a huge, overbearing flock of Mutalisks. Right now he's really only got a paltry 7 actually, so it's even less in my estimation. It's not going to be enough to break that Terran metal.
We'll see how many more he can put up here in a bit. He still is floating about 1,000 minerals, so that could very easily be another expansion plus a macro hatch, and then a few units on top of that and drones to support that. So surprised he hasn't done so quite yet. He is going to go after this missile turret and stop construction of another command center here, but like you said, loses a Muta. What he doesn't know is that Clide was actually putting down 2 expansions at the same time, and with the Thors coming in, those Mutas are going to have to run away. Wow, that's going to be rough to break.
Those Mutas really didn't do anything at all. I mean, yeah, they delayed a command center from going up, but that was actually Clide's like 5th command center or something because he's got 5 on the map already. So maybe it was the 6th command center. Really not that effective at all at doing anything. The Mutalisks are going to greet these Hellions and able to pick off quite a few Hellions. No anti-air to speak of yet because, of course, the Thor is quite slow. So MentalBreak gets a little bit of a catch right there, killing off a couple of Hellions. But there is this impending doom push coming from the Terran player, and it doesn't look like MentalBreak is going to have enough to break this push.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That's a 50 supply advantage. Oh, and it looks like he gets a couple of roaches picked off as well. He's going to need the perfect burst from those Banelings to be able to do anything. A few more Mutas are reinforcing, but the situation is looking bleak and bleaker by the second.
Well, he does have a lot of Mutalisks right now. If we pull up that units tab, he has just 12. I saw a whole bunch joining in, and I was like, hey, he's got a lot right now, but no, not quite enough. And we do have the Terran sieging up on the sweet spot, on the low ground, underneath the cliff. Kills off the gas right there. We do have the Zerg possibly going for a base race situation here.
Whoa.
I kind of like that because he realizes he can't win the game by attacking that major army, so he's going to try to run in here. But a wall kind of going up, a pseudo wall to prevent the Lings from running in, but those Lings eventually break through, and MentalBreak has an opening. He gets right into the Terran main, but in a base race situation, I don't know if he can win.
He's forcing a lot of units back from Clide, and actually the first few units that are coming back are these Hellions, which are actually horribly exposed at the moment. There we go, finally a few units coming behind. The Banelings came in and cleaned up quite a few workers. The Roach is going to work on these missile turrets so the Mutas can continue to do their damage. Mutas finally have to fly out of there, and look at this. We have a supply advantage now for MentalBreak. Things have switched around a little bit because so many workers went down, 36 already, and that number continues to rise. The Terran is still sieged up here underneath the sweet spot. He is going to take out that hatchery. There's no question about it. But I've got to say, MentalBreak is doing a pretty good job here.
I can't believe MentalBreak was able to pull that off and get in and do damage. And the key important thing to take away is he got his Meatless out of there safe and alive. You know, the roaches were expendable, but he got his Meatless out. I take it back. He's going to lose a couple more Meatless, but he gets them out just in time.
There we go.
Those Meatless are crucial right now. He needs to have those to retain map control. He is going to end up losing this hatchery, like you said, but he has a 12 o'clock coming up just kind of hidden, barely a footstep away, barely a pace away from those tanks. But Clide right now is completely unaware of that fact, and we do have MentalBreak ahead in supply. This is unbelievable. Wow. Really, I cannot believe that he was able to pull this off. Is he going to win, though, is the question we're asking ourselves.
He still has quite a bit to try and break. His upgrades look pretty good, though. Looks like these roaches probably need to come against this Thor here in a second. There we go. Finally, the roach is turning their attention against the Thor. Forces the Thor to retreat.
He's going into
the
base again.
Yes, he is. And he's going to go right after the economy. He's got to take down this Thor that's warding off all these units.
Oh,
he's going to lose all of his mutas there. That is unfortunate. If he had waited about half a second, he could have gotten in there and done quite a bit more damage. The Hellions are being rallied in, though, and unfortunately, those aren't going to do a single thing against these roaches. It looks like MentalBreak just wants to go after the economy of his opponent. At the same time, the economy goes down at the natural once again. 66 workers killed altogether.
This is incredible. A comeback for the Swarm here. MentalBreak is about to win this game. I cannot believe it. We were literally looking at the biggest Terran death ball, and I mean, in the back of my head, I was like, all right, this game is done.
Yeah,
we're going on to the next series.
What, down by 40 supply?
He ran in with like the most paltry army ever. It was so flimsy and ragtag, but he was able to exact so much damage out of it. And look at this, he's ahead by 30 supply. I mean, he's climbed himself back in. It's certainly not over yet. It can go either way. And of course, the one thing that Clide has going for him, if you're a Terran fan here, is he kept his orbitals alive so he can meal himself back up. He can rebuild his economy. So it's not over yet. It's a very close game.
And here we go. MentalBreak is going to make his way in and take out this Thor and Sea Shank that we're camping his production so he can reestablish his natural if he so desires. Looks like all the rest of the missile turrets are going to go down as well. And still, Clide has not touched this next expansion, which has started to return a profit, certainly in gas, if nothing else. Clyde going to run in with a few more units here in a second. Nope, thinks better of it, decides to turn tail and run home. But Clyde has lost his third base. He lost all of the mining off of his planetary fortress at his fourth as well. He has finally established another base here. And the Blue Flame Hellions are working their way through. They are going to take out a number of workers, actually.
Oh, my goodness. They just roasted the drones there at the 12 o'clock. That's the drone barbecue pit. If we pull up the workers, kill tab, 75 workers and 44 for each player.
So 119 workers killed in this game. That is ridiculous.
It's pretty insane right now, cats. MentalBreak, he ends up losing a lot of the drones at the 12, but it's not, you know, the worst situation ever because I think he killed off a lot of those Hellions as well. And he is making his way down to the bottom right now. He needs to deny the 5 o'clock and the 6 o'clock expansions from going up because he cannot allow the Terran player to climb back out of this. He greets a couple of Marines in the middle of the field, takes him out with a massive Roach volley. We do have some tanks sieged up at the natural, in between the natural and the third. Looks like Clide right now is playing completely defensively at his base, leaving his expansions on the bottom right exposed, and the Roaches are going to be able to pick it apart. Beautiful play by MentalBreak.
Yep, Planetary Fortress goes down. The only mining really being done here at the bottom right-hand corner. A few units are being rallied in for Clyde.
Oh my goodness, the tanks are unsieged!
Oh, and the Banelings are going to roll through, and that's going to be able to take out a number of units. Nothing being done to stop those. The Banelings finally going off. They do manage to take out a couple of tanks. And there are enough roaches here. They should be able to push those units back into the base. They do.
Goodness.
The roach is going to get away, but we still see a pretty significant supply advantage. This base is up and mining once again. I would imagine MentalBreak is going to take another expansion somewhere across the map, but he is still doing a beautiful job.
This is an insane game of StarCraft 2. Both players just trying to win here. Keep in mind, guys, this is the last game of this series. Whoever wins here will go on in the qualifiers. Whoever loses is done. They're out. So they're giving it their all right now. The Zerg, I cannot begin to say how proud I am for the Swarm. I mean, literally, that situation is a situation 99 times out of 100, you're gonna lose. I would say 100 out of 100. This is the only reason why I changed my statistic right here and now, because MentalBreak is actually making a game out of this. And let's just take a look back and look at this game so far. We have MentalBreak at 1, 2, 3, 4 mining bases, probably about to be 3 because he has he's losing minerals on one of those bases.
Yeah.
The Terran is at 1, 2, 3.
Well, he's got 1, 2, and maybe some of his natural.
Maybe some
kind
of
of
his
a little
so
bit.
It's
not
a
much.
pretty close game right now. It's definitely a race right now. We have +3 vehicle weapons on the way. We do have a dropship army coming out as well. Clide here is moving out with dual dropships. One is basically a diversion. The other one is loaded with Hellions, though, and the Roaches are out of position. A lot of drones could go down here, but there are 18 Mutalisks on the production tab.
And here we go. The first drop making its way in. Clide going to drop that first Hellion eventually. Yep, there we go. All right. Yep. And a few Hellions are getting dropped here into the natural. At the same time, a few are going to get dropped into the third, as long as that medevac doesn't go down. It's so close. Only one does manage to make its way down. It's going to roast a couple of drones, but really not all that many.
And it looks like MentalBreak was able to deal with those Hellions pretty easily. Doesn't end up losing that many drones. So very, very interesting game right here. It's still up in the air as to who's going to win. It looks like one Hellion will scout out that hatchery, that ninja hatch. Oh, not so much a ninja hatch, but that hatchery over there at the top, at the right-hand side. We do have a Zerg unit kind of scouting out the planetary on the bottom as well. So Roach is kind of...
Roach,
it's actually killing off SCVs behind the middle line. Thankfully, it's on hold position. Really smart play right there. And MentalBreak here making this transition into mass Mutalisks. I love this, and this could catch Clide by surprise, although he's revealed it on the planetary right now. He will get the planetary kill.
Yep, certainly, and that's actually really devastating to Clide because he has almost no mining going on here.
He's running
over
out of
at his natural, and look at his third as well. This is about all the mining that he could do is at this base, but unfortunately there's just too many mutas here. Those 18 mutas going to be able to clean up pretty much everything, even taking out a refinery on the way.
Oh my god.
+3 weapons for that mech, though, about ready to show up, so we'll see if Clide can make a stand. He actually has come close to neutralizing the supply advantage, and because he is down 11 workers, the armies are relatively close to each other. But here come the mutas. They're just going to push through these missile turrets.
He does not have enough Thors, though, to deal with those Mutalisks. He's making 2 at a time right now, so he will have 3 on the field momentarily. Ends up losing this orbital? No, saved at the last second by the repairing SCVs and the Vikings. Meanwhile, we have Hellion drops going off all over the map, but it looks like those Hellions were dispatched of. One possible drop going off at the Ninja Hatchery on the right-hand side. The Mutalisks are going to deal with these Vikings. Those Vikings are really the only anti-air that Clide has. Saved a couple doors that just pumped out right now, but Clide needs to ensure that every single last anti-air unit he has on the map right now stays alive, because if he loses any of them, he's just going to lose to a mass mutaball.
Yeah, certainly. And MentalBreak does come through and re-deny the mining here once again, so Clide is quite literally
He's out of money. He's out of money, yeah.
No, he's not mining at all. He's bringing in no income, so this is an incredibly terrible position for him. And that just means that we're going to get to the point where the Zerg player can sit back, he can max, and then continue to remax over and over and over and over and over again, because he'll be able to extend his mining and continually re-deny bases with his mutas. So, looks like the Hellion is able to stop a further base from coming up that is still on patrol. These mutas are going to come clean that Hellion up, so all harassment will cease, but MentalBreak now has a giant Roach and Infestor ball.
I can't believe this. MentalBreak is looking to win this game here. We have him transitioning into Broodlords right now, which of course is one of the most feared units against the Terran player. Clide right now, what he really needs to do is lift off one of his orbitals. If he has, does he have any of his orbitals alive? So I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does it as natural.
Yeah, there we go. He needs to lift that sucker off and land it somewhere and start getting some mining action going. Because look at his SCVs. He's doing a little bit of a Congo line distance mining action right now. Lands a bunch of mules.
Are so good. Look at this mining rate.
God for the Terran player, because now he's going to be able to pump out some forces. That was a much necessary boost of income right there. A couple of Blue Flame Hellions running in here as well. I don't think they'll be able to get that many kills, as the Mutalisks are going to be able to fly over and pick those off.
And last couple of Hellions go down, and right now, I mean, Clide has been playing super defensively up to this point. I don't blame him.
He's got.
That is an absurd number of tanks. Actually, take a look. That's 16 tanks on top of +3 upgrades for those. That means these Blue Flame Hellions are doing a ridiculous amount of damage as well. Yeah, 30 damage to every light unit. That is just absurd.
And the tank is doing like almost 70 damage. The Thor is just blasting
40 damage, and it does double attack, so it does damage, 78. Basically. Yeah, 78 damage every time it moves. We have a few mutas coming down here to the bottom right-hand side. They're not going to be able to break that force.
You know what? I'm actually a little concerned for MentalBreak at this point. If the Terran player decides to make a mass concerted push, those Roaches are not going to stand up to that mech. Absolutely not. Right now, MentalBreak needs to get his Broodlords out ASAP, and he's running out of time. Clide is actually making a push here with all of his mech, and MentalBreak is in a lot of trouble. I don't think he has enough Mutalisks to bust the number of Thors there are. I don't think he has the forces necessary to deal with this. He needs to get Broodlords out immediately, and Clide has an opportunity opportunity here to do a lot of damage. However, oh, look at that. MentalBreak threatening the counterattack once again, and Clide falls back.
Yep,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
That just saved him the game.
Oh no, he's going to get all of his mutas killed though. He does manage to take down one missile turret at the loss of 2 mutas. Oh, unfortunately, another one goes down to a Thor there. Clyde is unsieged at the moment, though, so looks like MentalBreak is going to fall back. He has 5 broods under production.
Yeah, he has 5 broodlords in production now. I would say he needs more, if anything. He needs like 8 right now, plus. He has a 6th one on the way right now. I still don't think he has enough broodlords to break this. A couple of infestors have parted away from the main army to spawn some babies at the 6 o'clock to do some damage. They're going to be able to do a little bit, but let's focus on the main battle here. Infestors launching their fungals. They do need to do that and whittle down those Hellion numbers, but the main thing we want to see from those infestors is Neural Parasite. Neural Parasite is going to be absolutely key in conjunction with the Broodlords. We do have this Terran moving into the 12 here, and it looks like the March of the Broodlords are coming. This is going to be the epic battle, and only one player can come out ahead.
And here it comes. The Broodlords are going to make their way through, and Broodling Strike so good. Look at the way it goes down after all those units, and yes, you are absolutely correct. The tanks were unsieged, so they're not going to take that much splash damage from each other, and the Thors are doing as much damage as they can to the Broodlords, but the Broodlords seem like they're winning the day, and there we go! The Neural Parasite finishes up so many siege tanks under MentalBreak's control, and he is able to clean up a ton of those units. Clyde is pushed back now, and a 70 supply disadvantage, and he GG's!
Oh, wow, what a game right there from both these players.
Wow.
Seriously, back and forth, non-stop action. I swear, Clyde had a chance there to win the game.
I agree with you.
It all came down to the Neural Parasite. I mean, honestly, I would have loved to see him siege up maybe just a couple of tanks, because that would have kept the infestors away from Neural Parasiting.
Wow.
That was just insanity. One of the best games I've
ridiculous,
ever seen.
and chat is going nuts right now. I love it. I love it. I love it. That game was so good.
That game was amazing. One of the best Terran versus Zergs I have ever seen. Literally.
Your favorite matchup and one of the best games you've seen.
Should have been over at the 15-minute mark when the Terran was making that epic push, but MentalBreak bought it back.
And so MentalBreak has knocked out the Korean Clyde from Team SCV Live. Congratulations to him. He moves on to the round of 32.